Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. So, we are doing the Mutant Massacre, and this is sort of like it it really doesn't too much. But Ann Nocenti was taking over Daredevil as writer. Ann Nocenti is the editor on the X-Men and the New Mutants. And so she decided to do a sort of one-off issue that really features Daredevil and Sabretooth. That's it. So great cover. Arthur Adams actually pencils this cover, but if you look here, the inks are done by Klaus Janson. So it's very rare because you hardly see such a different type of inker for Arthur Adams. So yeah, it's a pretty cool cover, I think. So you see Sabretooth in this really cool pose going after Daredevil, protecting this girl in the Morlock tunnels. Now, it is penciled by Sal Buscema, and the inks are by Steve Leialoha. So you see Sabretooth here is about to attack someone. I love this pose here. Sal Buscema and Steve Leialoha doing the art together. So probably layouts and finishes here. Jim Shooter is the editor in chief during this era. Rest in peace. Ann Nocenti is the writer. So why do I bring that up? Because she is a woman, and you are going to see something, and you probably go, "Oh, this was not written by a guy." So, and I will get to that scene in just a moment here. So he says, "Get out of the tunnels" to these regular people. I don't understand why Sabretooth just didn't kill him, but again, it's a comic book, so we have to get to a story. So but he's warning these regular people, and he's like, "Hey, these tunnels are open up for everyone because the Morlocks are gone." And Sabretooth is like, "No, these are mine. Now get out, or I'm going to put my mark on your put it across the throat here." So you can see here he tries to gut this guy. Sal Buscema is an excellent penciler. Is he super dynamic? No, but I like him. I'm a huge fan of his. And by the way, he's still with us. I think he's in his 80s, but he's still kicking. So Daredevil says, "I'm going to take the girl. The girl is mine." Now, do any of you want to fight for her? And they all leave. They're like, "I'm not dying for nobody." So they're like, they leave her with Sabretooth. And he says she's hers. And she's like, "You won't hurt me." He's like, "Quiet." And he's like, "Shut up. Your bed, our bed." So again, if this was the guy, you probably would go, "Oh, but so Ann Nocenti understands perfectly well, especially in the 80s, that and it really hasn't changed. When you look at rapists and you look at people that abuse, it's still a power dynamic. And I don't care how far feminism has gone to. There are still men who, it's a concept, but in theory, there are still men out there that do exactly this. It's 2025 as of this recording, and this kind of stuff like this still happens. And so Sabretooth is basically in possession of her, and he's hungry, and he's going to go eat, and basically leaves her there. And then he gets back and just lays next to her. So there is no, this is still a comics code comic book, even in the 80s, despite I love the dry brushing that is being done here. So we are still, we're not going to show something, but we can infer that if this was reality, things probably wouldn't go very well for her. But in this issue, he just sleeps right now. So he is going to go to sleep. And so now we're gonna go out to Daredevil, and he sees these two dog bitings, and one wins and one doesn't. And the losing dog runs away here, and Daredevil is like, "I can't believe that we still have strays and all that kind of stuff here in New York." And then he hears gunpowder, 3 men, all that kind of stuff with his radar sense. He's gonna go and investigate, and he gets there, and they're trying to mug this guy here. So Daredevil jumps on this guy, takes the belt off, ties him up. The other guy runs away. He tosses the billy club, goes down, and he goes. Daredevil asks, "Why do you guys always run?" He says, "Just stupid, I guess. We'll be out in a week." And he's like, "I know." So he says, "Why bother?" He says, "It brightens my day." Now, the guy that was victim here says, "Look at you. So cool. Such hot stuff. You waiting for your thanks, hero, for the applause? I want to tell you something. I had a store on 40th and 7th, a little flower shop, nice piece of business. Smell of flowers all day, felt like the country. Kept my kids in new shoes once in a while, even a silk dress for my wife. But you brought that super soldier nuke up here, and you tore up the whole neighborhood. The fires, the guns, it was like bringing the war back. Then boom, my store, my life is gone." That was in Daredevil 233. I will be getting to the Born Again saga. I'm covering Frank Miller's Daredevil run, and I am about 2/3 into it. So I will be, as I mentioned, getting into Born Again, but we're not there yet. Anyway, the guy continues. "So don't you dare save me from the muggers. I'd rather take my chances with the street thugs than a than a costume super bully protecting me. Don't you realize you attract more violence than you could ever stop?" And you see Daredevil picking up the dude's wallet here. "Get out of our city before you kill us all." So Daredevil tosses the wallet behind, but tosses it at him. He says, "You're right, my friend, and you're wrong, but I can't explain it to you." So he walks away rather than confront. So these kids are going to be coming through Ann Nocenti's run on Daredevil. And so they're watching like a Wolfman movie. And this kid, that's her brother, so this is Darla. And then he sicks the cat on her. And of course, he's like, "Ah!" And so then she beats up her brother here. And so the dad, I like how this is done, kind of just generic people. He's like, "No more TV, whatever." And so they go down, and now they're at the Morlocks tunnel. So this is, of course, going to lead to freaking Sabretooth. And because these kids are being loud and whatever, and they're trying to sleep here, and our Sabretooth is trying to sleep. They're fighting, and again, they're fighting for the Morlock turf. This is all turf. This is the thing. So he finally wakes up, and you can see this row going through. So everyone's like, "What the heck?" And so Sabretooth here, "Who woke me up?" And he's like, "I'm hungry," and he's gonna try to kill the kids. But this kid goes, "This is New York, buddy. These streets are protected by Daredevil. Mess with us and he'll find you and beat you up." And Sabretooth kind of smiles. "Oh, yeah? He thinks New York is his? He's got the toughest cat around." Oh, sorry. He's the toughest cat around. Sounds good to me. So he's going to go look for Daredevil instead of killing the kids and eating them. So, yeah, we know in real life wouldn't happen, but this is comic books. So Sabretooth leaves the kids alone and decides to go look for Daredevil. And so here's Daredevil, still thinking about the stuff the old man said. And you can see that Sabretooth is looking at him. And Daredevil says, "A heartbeat. Someone's on the roof, but the scent somewhere between a man and a tiger's." And Sabretooth says his scents change. He knows I'm here, but he doesn't know how fast I am. And all of a sudden he says, "It's moving. It's quick. I'll duck behind." No, wrong move. And suddenly, slash. Pretty cool here. And Sabretooth says, "You're good. I'm better." And so next thing, they're going to get into a fight. He goes, "So what? Now what's going on? Why do you want to fight me?" "Because you exist." And so we're going to have a fight. And Sabretooth going after Daredevil. And you can see it here. He's like, "Hey, get away here." And so he slashes him. And he's still, "What do you want to fight me?" and all that. So we're going to now have the cat going after a mouse here, kind of like for some just filling, I guess. And so Daredevil and Sabretooth are fighting. and Daredevil goes underneath into the sewers. Oh, sewers! These things stink, and these things are heavy. It's not like getting them off is, I don't know. So Daredevil is gonna go after him, and he doesn't need to see because he's of course blind. So, all right, um, and so he thinks he shouldn't see in the dark, but then Sabretooth is like maybe he does. So again, the cat going after the mouse. Parallel here story, and they come through it. She crashes, and now she's tied up. She wasn't tied up before, but now she is. So, all right, they continue fighting. He slashes Daredevil, but we're not really showing a lot. But that's gotta hurt here. This guy brings him the mouse, and the kid's like, "Oh my god!" Uh and so, uh, cats doing what cats do. I have cats. They hunt. Cats are hunters, and so she hopes Daredevil can save her, but knows that this guy is going to. She kills him that he's dead, and so he tosses him, and there's a dead body right there, and he's like one of the Morlocks from the Mutant Massacre. It says here, and he thinks that he notices what's he doing. He sniffs, tilts his head. He's not using his eyes, and he realizes he's blind. And he's like, "I'm impressed." And so, the stench and all that kind of stuff. So he's gonna go, um, kill this girl now after all this time here, and it's gonna go slash her throat, and he does. And Daredevil catches Sabretooth, punches him, and punches him. And if you notice, I'm just sort of narrating this story because really there's not much here. So she's still alive. And he's basically saying, what do you do, what you do, yada, yada, yada. And so it's a hunger it makes me. So it's the same thing that the cat. And so and it leaves me hungrier. So now he's going, but he goes, I'm too injured to follow. And the girl is still alive and says, he was kind to me. He barely touched me. So he was kind to me by having me tied up. Oh my goodness gracious. So Daredevil cuts a little piece of his, or, whatever, of his costume and puts it on her neck so she doesn't bleed to death, and carries her out here. And she says here, remember that old guy had kind of told Daredevil his piece. So she says, it feels so good to know you exist. I just wanted you to know that. He says, thank you. And so that's the end of our story. So pretty quick, pretty easy. So it's sort of connected to the Mutant Massacre, but not really. It could be on its own. It could, but I do have this issue, so I wanted to share the issue with you. So, Daredevil 238 by Ann Nocenti, Sal Buscema, and Steve Leialoha. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.